Do I need to start video?
Good.
Okay. All right. So thanks for coming. I know it's a nasty day, so I appreciate you coming to see us. My name is Amanda Caudill. I'm the Digital Services Distance Librarian for Collin College, and I'm the one that does database links and problem shooting, troubleshooting, and things like that. And I also do instruction. I've been playing around with NaNoWriMo for a few years now. I've got a couple of books that I'm working on when the muse strikes. Depends on which one I'm working on at that given time. But one of the things that saves me time is Grammarly, because while I'm pretty decent at grammar for academic writing, creative writing is a completely different animal. So that kind of takes me out of that one mindset and drops it into the more conversational tone for dialogue and lets me imagine things outside the realm of reality, which is where I'd like to live personally, but that's a different story. One thing that you need to remember about one thing, it's a lesson that I learned from a dear friend of mine who is going to be speaking in a couple of weeks, is Andy Sharoon. She's an English professor at Cedar Valley College, well, now Dallas College. Don't make it perfect. What comes out of your head and flows through your fingers doesn't have to be perfect. Get it on paper. You've got time to edit it later. It's more important to get the flow. It's more important to just get the information on the paper. You can tweak it and play with it and move it around later. For me personally, I'm kind of a pantser. I fly by the seat of my pants when I write. So it's like, I'm one of those people that plays movies in their head and I talk it all out. Some people like to plan their chapters, how the story's supposed to flow, where the character arcs are, who's going to die and when, who's actually the mean person and who's really the nice person. So there's a lot of different ways that you can approach this. Remember back in the day, you probably had to do note cards for class. I mean, it's whatever works best for you. But ultimately, at some point, you're going to have to go in and do the dirty work to make sure that it reads well when you send it off to a publisher. I do highly suggest that once you've gone through the editing process, find a dear friend who's not afraid of you to read it and give their honest opinion about, does it make sense? Does it flow? Are there key hooks in the right chapters and things like that? If you're interested in reading about writing, I highly recommend Stephen King's On Writing. It's a great book. DeFresne is another author that's really good, and the title of the book is not on the tip of my tongue, but Dr. Disharoon will be referring to that book during her speech presentation, and we hope to have our copy on the shelves by the time her presentation is, because we do have a copy in cataloging. If not, I will bring my copy so y'all can kind of see what it looks like and everything. It's a great dialogue book. Now, so have y'all heard about Grammarly? Okay, so have you used it before? All right. Well, the cool thing about Collin College is that it's free for you. It's not just the free basic, yeah, you got some misspellings, you got some whoopsies here and there. It's actually the premium version where you get more bells and whistles and suggestions. So it's a lot more informative. It gives you a chance to really think about the mistakes that they're suggesting that you look at. Here's the key though, just because Grammarly suggests it doesn't mean it's something you want to use. It's optional. So think about, what are you trying to convey? Is Grammarly just, because it's a computer thing. It's a computer program. It doesn't know what's in your head. So it may be an issue where you just need to rewrite the sentence or take a different direction with the way the paragraph is going. Don't just automatically go, sure, we'll take everyone that's on there. No, I did that once. It ruined the whole chapter and I had to redo the whole thing. So, but what I've done is I've lost my glasses. What I've done is I've created a LibGuide, and I can't see it because it's small. Go away.
Got it.
Where is that?
That blue box.
Oh. Let's see, I don't
Don't X out of that.
no. Okay.
Click got it because you're sharing that blue box.
Oh, that's why.
There you go.
Okay, let's not do that. So what I've done is I've created a LibGuide for you to see and have links. Now, what it is, and you'll be able to find it in our LibGuides. It's public available, so you can go to it at any time. There's a couple of different ways that you can go to Grammarly. You can log in through one login in Cougar Web, and it'll be on your dashboard. All right, so then you can just click Grammarly and it takes you to the program. Or you can click on the Grammarly link in our LibGuides and you'll have to log in as a callingcollege.edu email. Don't use a personal one or it'll take you to creating a separate account. So just remember to use your Calling College information. You have options if you have multiple devices that you use. You can create keyboards. You can use it for your iPad as an add-in to Microsoft Office, which I do. You can put it in on your Chrome, which I do. You can also, I have a link for the Grammarly handbook and the Facebook community Twitter accounts if you want to follow them. And they also have a blog. They're very user-friendly. Grammarly is, so you won't be left hanging if you have a question. Also, I wanted to show you the different kinds of things that Grammarly has. As you'll notice, with just the basic free account, you get the grammar, the spelling, the conciseness of your writing, the readability, and that's it. Not the readability, and that's it. But with the premium, you get all of this. You get the grammar, the conciseness, but you also get readability, vocabulary, genre-specific writing style checks, and plagiarism detector. And that's very helpful, not only in academic writing, but also in creative fiction, because we're influenced by different writers. If you read, it helps if you read in the genre that you want to write in. So by that saying, some of those words will be playing around in your head. So just be careful with that. But this is why it's good to go ahead and use the Calling College version of Grammarly, okay? Now, so once you log into Cougar Web, it's going to take you to your dashboard, which looks like this, except you probably won't have some of these, so these are faculty staff. But you will have Grammarly, and you will have the Office link. So what you'll do is you'll click on Grammarly. And then it's either going to take you directly there if you've ever logged in on that computer, or it'll ask you to log in if it's the first time. So as you can see from here, you can create a new one, or you can look at their demo document. You can work on your account. You can look at the apps if you wanted to upload it to Chrome or anything like that. And that's what you'll be doing on this screen. So what you can do is click on the new document. We'll skip the tour. And as you'll notice, you have the suggestions column, your overall score information, and where you copy your document information in here, because it's got to have something to read, right? So say, for instance, you've written you started writing your book, your article, your short story, your fan fiction, whatever, and you want to check it. Don't check it after the first chapter. Don't check it after the second chapter. Like I said earlier, wait. Get your thought process going, get your train going, get all your information down. Then if your muse is kind of crazy and not talking to you, you can do a few edits. But if you get stuck editing, you're going to lose your steam. Okay, because editing can be heart-wrenching, because all of us want to be this great writer. We all want to put out something that everyone can enjoy, but editing will just scare it out of you. So wait until you're to a point where you're feeling pretty good about what you're doing. So for this example, I'm going to pull something out of a chapter that I'm looking at, that I'm working on. Yeah. Yeah, come on. There we go. All right. All right, so now notice that on the right hand side, this is all changed. So they're looking at, and I've looked at this a couple of times, so there's been some changes. I've got some correctness, feedback, clarity, some engagement, delivery, and a style guide. It's going by the style guide that I set up, which was creative writing. But as you can tell over here, it's questioning how I spelled vampire. It's questioning something about and you can see it's just like Microsoft Office. It's giving you the squiggles to look for. So what you can do, it says vampire. It seems that there's an article usage problem here. In most situations, that would be wrong, because most people say, well, should they say a vampire? And I'm like, in this particular instance, a vampire does not work for the thought process that this particular character is going through. Am I not vampire? As in strength of character. Am I not ferocious? So this is actually correct. So I'm going to ignore this one. Whoops. So we're going to trash that one. We're going to go to and. And it's suggesting that I put a comma in front of and. So let's look at it. It appears like you're missing a comma before the coordinated conjunction and the compound sentence. I'm not an English professor, so that's like, okay. So in the sentence, Rose's bedroom was off the kitchen and David's bedroom was on the opposite side of the house. So that's probably necessary. So we're going to put that in. So click the green. And now notice that when I click the green box suggestion, the line left the paragraph and deleted from the suggestions column. Okay, now you see this is pretty easy, right? Now, so let's go on. Now we've got blue. It says appears that out of the house may be unnecessary in the sentence. Consider removing it. So let's look at the sentence. Was on the opposite side of the house beyond the parlor. Now, that could, okay, because I used house up here earlier in the paragraph, this is probably not necessary because I'm over explaining, right? I'm not depending on the reader's imagination to know where they are. So yeah, I would probably remove that. Okay, so, and that's what you do. That's why this is so tedious. You keep going through each one of these different errors and you make that decision. Is it right or am I right? If you feel solidly that something that their suggestion is wrong, don't change it. You are the artist. You are the writer. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. At this point, I would continue on working with this until I had finished the chapter and then go to the next chapter and continue to revise my document until I was ready to either write again if I was inspired to continue on writing, or I would shut it down for the night. Because I try, if I'm going to edit, I try not to do more than one chapter a night, because it gets, like I said earlier, it gets me out of my train of thought. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions about editing? Yes, sir.
I'd just like to add a note that I'm like, you said earlier, like, do the editing at the end, and then, or you burn out. Yeah, I'm at that stage. I haven't touched my book in like in a year and a half.
Oh no.
I'm like, a quarter of the way of the book, and then I started editing, and then ever since then, I haven't touched the book again.
And see, that's exactly it, because you've lost your steam, because editing is heart-wrenching, because this is your baby. This is your baby. You've poured your heart and soul into your book, and now some program is saying, oh, you messed up. Well, you've got to remember, it's just a program. There are no judgments, because ultimately you are the one that wants to publish this item. And you are your best cheerleader. You have to have faith in your abilities. You have to have faith in your characters. And if you can remember that, kind of feel that warmth growing back in your heart for that book, you'll get back into it. It's just a matter of, you know what, I'm not ready to do this right now. So have you read through the whole book without editing it? Are you completely finished?
No.
Okay, so where are you in the book? Like quarter, middle, 2/3? Quarter, okay. So how are you feeling about it?
It's good. The problem is,
Oh, it's a poem, cool.
I have bad grammar.
Mhm.
So every time I fix it, and I go back, and it's like, oh man, there's another mistake here in the same sentence. There's another part of the sentence that I have that issue.
But is it truly bad grammar, or does it add to the poem? Because poems have a life of their own.
No, it is actually bad
It is actually bad grammar.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, you never know. I've
Yeah.
read some poems that a professor told me it was an amazing poem, and I'm like, didn't understand. So that's what I'm saying. Don't be judgy on yourself. If you are weak in your grammar, this will help you improve your writing. From the time that I started this particular book, and I'm about 30,000 words in, I was not that great with grammar. I'll be frank honest with you. I hated it in elementary school. Hated it with a purple passion. But as I have gotten further into this book and the other one that I'm doing when I get bored with this one, I've learned a lot of lessons, and it comes a lot easier. So this is not only a help tool to get your book finished, but it's also a teaching tool. You just have to have patience with yourself. Okay? So don't give up. All right? Does anybody have anything they want to share? Y'all? Are y'all writing something that you'd like to talk about? What would you like to talk? No?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just saying I'm writing.
But you're
something
writing, well, see,
now.
but that's good. That's good. That's great that you're writing something. And at some point you'll feel, more confident about sharing bits and bobs of it. Don't have to share the whole thing with anybody, but just, how far are you into it?
Like 5 pages.
That's great though. That's a start. It's not a blank page sitting at you going, that's the worst thing.
If you're joining us via Zoom, please feel free to drop any questions or comments in the chat. There we go.
Hey, no, thank you. What about you guys? Do you have, are you into something, or are you still germinating about the topic, or?
I'm thinking about finishing my PhD, and so I've got a
Great.
dissertation that I would use this on. So the way I was thinking about using this is I would go through and edit the dissertation, and then I would hire a proofreader and then send this on to them, and then they would have actually less work to do.
Right, because that's it.
I'll be paying them by the hour, and that'd be very expensive.
Oh yeah, definitely. And see, that's a different animal. That's a different approach, the PhD thesis or dissertation. My bad, sorry. I know better. It's a different animal, and you can set up your writing hints when you first get started to look more at academic writing versus creative writing. So that will help you a lot. It'll amp up the verbiage, and it'll look a little bit stronger at sentence structure, so that it will help you, be more on spot with what you need to do, especially if you're doing any kind of quantitative study. It will help with that. Yeah. How about you? Not at the moment. That's okay. It'll come. It will come. Now, there's a video that I want to show you on the LibGuide that I pulled from Grammarly. And this will speak directly to the PhD process as far as writing goes. It's more academic.
Hello, Collin College students. A generous grant at the college has provided all Collin College students with a free premium Grammarly account. Grammarly is an application that helps users compose bold, clear, mistake-free writing, and it's free to those Collin College students. To access Grammarly, students must first log into Cougar Web. Here we are at the Collin College homepage. Click the Cougar Web link in the top right-hand corner. Use your username and password to access Cougar Web. Once logged into Cougar Web, look for the Collin College One login link in the middle of the screen. The One login provides users with access to applications such as Grammarly, Office 365, and other applications. If you do not have Grammarly already loaded into your Collin College One login, click the Browse App Store. Here you will see a list of the different applications and extensions that could be added to your One login. To begin using the Grammarly application, click the Grammarly extension button here in One login. What you'll see is the Grammarly home screen. If you click the New Document button, you will be able to either copy and paste your work into the Grammarly program, or you can upload a document if you have your work saved to a computer or a flash drive. To preview the Grammarly features, I'm going to use Grammarly's demo document. I'm going to copy and paste my work into the program.
And this is the same thing I did earlier. But then you'll see a little bit more.
This is available to faculty as well, right?
Yes.
When you paste your work into Grammarly, you'll see a few goals that come up. The goals provide different categories that allow Grammarly to provide specific feedback based on the writing and the audience. If you're writing for a college level class, most likely your audience is going to be knowledgeable or expert. In all academic classes, unless your instructor has informed you otherwise, your writing should be neutral or formal. For this example, I'm going to put the feature on formal. Here in our domain, if you're writing for a college level class, you most likely want to click on the academic link. If you're writing for the workplace or a cover letter, you might use the business link. Let's see how Grammarly does checking the demo document. Here we have an image of our work and the comments provided by Grammarly. On the right side of the screen, you'll find different categories such as correctness, clarity, engagement, and delivery. If you click on one of the categories, you'll be able to focus specifically on that feedback. Coming back over to our document, you can walk yourself through it by just clicking on the underlined or the highlighted text and looking to the right to find Grammarly's feedback. Notice here that Grammarly picked up on a spelling effect versus affect. The great thing about Grammarly is you were provided an explanation directly underneath the error. For example, here we have a comma error and we have an explanation. It appears that you have an unnecessary comma in a compound object. Consider removing it. But let's say you don't know what a compound object is and you're not exactly sure why the comma was used or not used. You can click the Learn More button and you're given an incorrect versus a correct example and an explanation. Also, take note how Grammarly uses color coding in order to align the categories on the right-hand side of the screen with your writing on the left. So if I've received feedback from my instructor that my writing lacks clarity and needs more specificity, I can click on the clarity category and review that specific feedback from Grammarly. This is a great feature. To get back to your original document at the top, click back to all alerts. When you've finished reviewing all the feedback from Grammarly, you're ready to submit your work to an instructor or upload into Canvas. You come up here to the menu link in the top left-hand corner. You can click the menu link and you can download your file as a Word document. You can save your file to a computer and upload it to your instructor or send as an attachment. I hope this Grammarly tutorial has helped. If you have any trouble accessing the Grammarly application through one login, please contact the Collin College Help Desk at 972-377-1777 or email the help desk at helpdesk@collin.edu.
Okay, so as you saw, there was a lot of similarities between fiction writing and academic writing, but you can see the more formal, the more feedback you got for the formal writing, because creative fiction is rarely that formal. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, here again, I do highly suggest that you get the Grammarly apps for Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word especially, helps in Outlook because it's caused several of my brains faster than my fingers typing. And check the blogs out. The support link is great. If you don't want to go through your one login, you can always click this link to go to grammarly.com. If you have a general support question, you can click that link and then go through their blogs of information. There's tips and tricks that you can use to find out, how you can further tweak your writing. It's a very user-friendly program. Okay, so are there any questions? Is there any online questions?
Nope, I don't see anything.
Okay. Here again, my name is Amanda Caldwell, and you can email me at any point with questions about Grammarly. I use it all the time, like I said, and I can walk you through something if it's hanging up, and or you can email the help desk as they've suggested in the video. I really appreciate you coming today, and I hope that you continue on with your writing, because it's a form of expression. As a librarian myself, we cannot lose this form of communication, storytelling, telling insight into our minds, into other people's minds as we grow, because you can tell the difference in opinions from different centuries by the fiction as well as the formal writing. So it's important to continue the tradition.
First and last name.
Amanda Caldwell at collin.edu. AMANDA.
So Kimberly asked,
Uh-huh.
how do we get to it?
To Grammarly.
Grammarly, I think, if you would just go over one more time, like where to navigate to it outside of the website.
Okay, if you're going outside of the
Like,
library
from one
website,
touch,
from one now,
like from one touch.
from one login.
Yes, one login.
Okay. Okay. How do I make this go away? Screen share thing go up.
No. Minimize it.
It's not letting me.
Maybe if you click more on the far right, it's maybe a high.
Hide floating meeting controls, down, stop.
Okay.
Go down.
Thank you. So if you want to go to, you can log in by going to your Cougar Web and logging in with your one login information. So once you go into Cougar Web, you'll see the one login. You click your see this link in Student Email Office 365. Click that. And since I'm already logged in, it just went directly to it, but you would be asked for your student email, first part of your email, and your password, login password. It'll take you to this portal, which will show you in the student view, you'll see probably Everify, Microsoft Office, and Grammarly. You can click Grammarly from there, and then log in with your student email and password. That will take you to this screen, and then you can either start a new document and, or you can copy and paste information that you've already created into Grammarly and start editing from there. Yes, sir.
But if we just go to the Grammarly website, we can't sign in with our.
Sure, you can,
Oh, you
you
can with our
you
college.
sign in with your
Okay.
academic credentials,
Okay.
and it should let you in. I've done that myself, so it's worked. It's, I used to pay for a premium, and this is so much cheaper. Nothing beats free, right? Did that help?
Yes. Kimberly said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, that's pretty much it. But as you can see, it's easy. It really is. But I do suggest that you play around with it. Don't use your current writings, anything that you're doing now. Find an old paper, find something that you've created before and just want to see how this works. Don't let it touch your current writing so you won't get kind of stuck in that edit mode. Okay? Thank you very much. Help yourself to some snacks. If you would like, please take some.
Thank you, Amanda.
And my office is in the makerspace. If you just want to stop by, I'll be glad to talk to you.